So we are going to go over our opinion. You guys are more than welcome to tell us when we're wrong, and you guys have seemed like you guys did a pretty good job at letting us know when you agree or disagree. But we're going to go over the top 5 NFL wide receiver corps in the league. So basically, a pretty easy concept here. Each one of us are going to break down a little bit why we believe. We're going to go from 5 down to 1. So I will turn it over to G Mike up there. You're going to go first. So who is your number 5, my man?
Really quick, so before we get into it, we're doing just wide receivers, correct? No tight
Yep, just
ends,
wide
no,
receivers. Good,
no
good.
running
Yeah,
backs.
good. Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
no running backs or tight ends in there. I thought about throwing tight ends in the mix, but we could go overall offense at another time. But as of right now, as it stands, we are going top 5 wide receiver corps in the league.
All right, so I have 5. Might surprise you guys, but I had to do it to them. 5, I'm picking the 49ers, man, because they got Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, but they might lose him to the Steelers. They might trade him
Right.
away. And if it just comes down to Debo Samuel out there, bro, there's going to be a lot of double teams. There's going to be a lot of safety over the top on Debo, and especially when they're trying to run the ball with him, it's going to be a lot of, I would say, linebacker frenzy trying
Yeah.
to get him, to the ground and whatnot. But if they keep Brandon Ayuk, I think it'll probably jump up. They'll probably jump up to third because Ayuk is a great wide receiver, great route runner, great catcher. And they, in my opinion, they really should keep him. But if they let him go, then that really hurts their wide receiver core.
As like a side note, I feel like it's not necessarily the 49ers that don't want to keep him. I think it's Ayuk that wants to get paid. I think it's more of like on him, like because they're kind of working with him to get a deal done. And what he's asking for, I think, is not going to happen. So, in my opinion, stay there, man. You have the absolute best chance to win multiple Super Bowls instead of going to the teams that they're talking about going to. I don't
Yeah,
know. I understand get that money, get your bag. It's not my money, but if I was him, I would stay right there and take maybe 2 mil less than what you're talking about. I think the rumor was he wanted to get like 30 mil a year or so, something like that. But what's 27 to get a better endorsement deal because you're winning championships?
no, and the thing that's confusing too is that they try to give him to the New England Patriots, and the Patriots are going to probably pay him because they don't really have receivers out there. So they're
That was
probably
where
gonna,
he was going to make the most.
that's why he was going to make the most, and then
Yeah,
he's saying no, I don't want to go there. Okay, so what is it? You want to win or you want to
yeah,
get paid? Because if you want
right,
to win, your best chance to stay in San Fran. If you want to
yeah,
get paid, you should have gone to New England. Well, you think you're
yeah.
going to go to the Steelers, get paid, and win over there? No, man, no.
Yep.
Yeah, I that one's just confusing to me as well. Like I would stay my ass in San Francisco and take a couple bucks less if you have to, if they can't afford it. But you guys are in the absolute best spot to win a championship. But totally digressed on that one. 49ers was your pick. I do like that pick. That was a struggle. I wanted to throw them in there as well. BC, what's yours? Number 5.
I'm gonna say top 5. My number 5 is gonna be the Bucks. I like obviously the combo of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. 2,000-yard receivers is gonna be great. But I think in addition to that, and you're gonna kind of see this a little bit more on my list, I tend to favor not just the top 2 targets, but also too like who else you got at wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4. I
Yeah.
like Trey Palmer. I like how he did as a rookie. I think that he's definitely one of those great burner type receivers you want. But then also too, I like the addition of Jalen McMillan. I think that he's going to be a fantastic option as well as that wide receiver 3. So, the depth, I think of those top 4 receivers that they bring to the Bucks offense, it's gonna be big this year for them.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. This one was kind of hard to put in order sometimes, just because there are a lot of damn good wide receivers, and I do agree kind of what you were going off of as well is 1, 2, and 3. So my number 5 is going to be the Miami Dolphins.
Mm.
And the biggest reason I'm gonna have them at 5 is because of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That duo is ridiculously put together very, very well. They complement each other very, very well. The problem for the Dolphins is that they fall off really hard at wide receiver 3.
Mm.
They got OBJ, who is already hurt. I think if OBJ comes back and has some health, I think he will be very beneficial to the Dolphins and make help them out a lot. But it's either OBJ or Barrios is your number 3, and I don't find that to be very very sexy, if you will. But the Dolphins definitely have a great, amazing offense. So they're not relying on them as much. But my number 5 is going to be the Miami Dolphins. And you could, just because I was trying to figure it out, I couldn't not have Tyreek Hill somewhere in there. So, Mr. G Mike, you're on to number 4. What you got?
Number 4, I got the Philadelphia Eagles, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. I don't really think their wide receiver 3 is going to really be doing much. I know they got some guys that they probably that they want to fit in that fold to help out Jalen Hurts with Saquon Barkley out there too. I know they're going to be running the ball a lot, but obviously do a lot of play action plays to try to get AJ Brown some deep throws. And dude, I think they're pretty good offense with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. They're both fast. They both leap. They both can catch the ball. They're both aggressive. So I think it's a good core for them.
Yeah, that's who I was gonna. I replaced it with the Dolphins because of Tyreek Hill, but I totally agree with you. That was my number 5 as well. Was going to be the Eagles in there. BC, what you got, dude?
No, that was pretty much that's my number 4 pick as well. Just Philadelphia, like you said, like the tandem with Brown and Smith is very hard to beat. And then, like you said, even if they don't have necessarily like the stud number 3 pick, they've got a good core in the back of them that they can just kind of slot in at that spot. And Devontae Parker's one of them. Like I like him there as that number 3. I think the star power those two have combined with that tandem that they have back on the back end for wide receiver 3 is going to be good.
Yeah, and we can't forget too. They have great nicknames out too, the Batman and Skinny Batman. So like that's just cool out there, man. So my number 4 is going to be the Green Bay Packers. I really wanted to be a little bit higher on these guys. I love what they're building out there with their young core. They got a lot of really young talent with Watson, Dobbs, Reed, and Wicks. The biggest issue I have with the Packers is just staying healthy. That core has all the talent in the world. It just seems like one out of the 3 of them is always kind of hurt, lingering. Watson, of course, being the main one that was supposed to be the number 1 guy, but can't seem to stay healthy. But whenever he is healthy, is one hell of a wide receiver out there. So I'm going to go at number 4 for the Green Bay Packers. G, Mike, you're up to 3. What you got?
I got the Chicago Bears. I think of DJ Moore, and he just got paid right now, and he's proven that he can be a wide receiver 1. They brought in Keelan Adam from the Los Angeles Chargers, and he's proven that he is a wide receiver 1. And this guy was getting like 13 targets a game last year for like 4 games straight, and he was catching at least 70% of those balls. And then you bring in Rome when he had a fantastic career in college, man, bro. That trio right there is gonna be dangerous. It all comes down to how Caleb Williams is gonna play.
Yeah.
Is he gonna play like the superstar that we think he's going to be, or is he gonna be a bust?
Yeah. BC, what you got?
I got my number 3. I actually got the LA Rams. I like the idea. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell. I think those guys, obviously Cooper's been injured the last few years, but I think, if he goes back to his prime self, pair him with Puka, and then you also got Tutu there on the inside for the slot. Like it's a great matchup. Those are 3 guys that can each, benefit you in different ways. Like obviously, the receptions and targets have been kind of skewed. It's never been really one player. It's been really one player kind of dominating each of the last few seasons for the Rams. And we haven't really gotten to see all 3 of these guys at their peak. So I think that if you have all of them together, they're all out on the field healthy. It's a really tough core to beat.
Love the pick, man. That was going to be my honorable mention if there was one. Was the Rams? I love that out there. I'm excited to see what Puka and Cooper, a healthy Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua can do. And Tutu Atwell is just lightning ass fast, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so for my number 3, I'm going the Seattle Seahawks. DK Metcalf is just an amazing athlete. And the Seahawks brought in a new OC in Ryan Grubb, I believe his name is, out of Washington. And he's going to change the offense. They have a great number 2 in Tyler Lockett. He's gotten a little bit older, but they paid him recently like he still is legit number 2. And let's not forget that Jackson Smith and Jigba is still out there, who was with that same great wide receiver group of Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. And most of them said that he was the best. He did have an injury last year that kind of slowed it down, and their offense just wasn't the same. And that's part of why I think Pete Carroll is gone. So I think it's a new regime. And then I love that they're going to open up the offense a little bit more like they did in Washington. And it's almost a perfect duo. You got almost a replacement for Roma Dunze, Jalen Polk, and McMillan out there. So I think that's going to be an awesome wide receiver core. So we're getting to the top here, guys, getting close. All right, number 2, G Mike, what you got?
That Seattle one was really good. I was thinking about putting that as my number 5, but I just couldn't leave out the Niners if they keep Brandon Ayuk.
They're mentioned for sure.
Yeah. My number 2 is the Houston Texans. They bring in Stephon Diggs out of Buffalo, where he's been the last 4 or 5 years that he's been doing work. Yeah, the last 6 weeks of the season last year, he wasn't doing as much, but defenses were playing really tight on him. Nico Collins was just having a great year. Tank Dell had a phenomenal rookie season and leading the pack with CJ Stroud that he was basically almost MVP as a rookie quarterback. He was doing work out there. So now they have more chemistry, and obviously they got to get Stephon Diggs in the mix with the chemistry. But he's a professional. Yeah, he could be a little drama queen at times, but he'll go out there and he'll do what he needs to do. He'll catch the ball. He'll get you touchdowns. He'll get you yards. So I think that trio right there with C.J. Stroud, oof, would be crazy.
Whew, yeah, that is a damn good combo out there. All right, BC number two, who you got?
Well, George, I saw your Bears at 3. I'm going to upgrade them to number 2 on my list. Again, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. What more can you say right there?
Yeah.
Two wide receiver ones at the top of your rotation, and then also too, you bring in another wide receiver one and Rome Odunze for a rookie like that. Honestly, that's pretty much my only knock with this trio is that their wide receiver 3 is a rookie, but still, he's a fantastic rookie.
Fantastic.
Probably the most highly lauded wide receiver of the bunch
Mm-hmm.
from that Washington trio. So, and then the fact that, again, you're pairing that with a very young, but, probably one of the most highly touted quarterback prospects of this generation with Caleb Williams slinging the ball to you. It's going to be really tough to lock this Bear squad up. So, it's a good thing the Lions were able to kind of get some secondary pieces this offseason because that trio's scary.
And their
Not
secondary
only
still
do
trash.
Not
Well,
only do we
hey,
agree about the 92 Dream Team, but we also agree on our number 2 team. I'm going Chicago Bears there as well, man. I love that duo of Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, and DJ Moore. I think the Bears did a really good job with setting that up. I think they were really smart on how they did it. In the pre-draft ceremony and stuff, they started adding. You start to notice Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams starting to be at the same parties together, starting to almost, secretly, we're not going to do this, but I think that was really cool. I think they're going to build up a hell of a chemistry, and Keenan Allen's getting a little bit older, so Keenan Allen will probably be on the first one out to go out of those guys. But Keenan Allen as a security blanket for a rookie wide receiver, or I'm sorry, a rookie quarterback, no better guy to ask for. You saw what it did for Justin Herbert, so I think that's going to be fantastic for the Bears out there, and that's a fantastic 1-2-3 punch. That's out in Chicago. So G Mike, this is the big one here, buddy. You're up to number 1. Who you got?
That offense is going to be fun to use in Madden, by the way.
yeah.
Fun
I
to use.
bet. Yeah.
Number 1, I got the Miami Dolphins, man. You got Tyreek Hill, the number 1 NFL player according to the NFL. Number 1 wide receiver, obviously. Jaden Waddle is fast, swifty. And you bring in OBJ when you could obviously, he went viral off of a catch that he did. His hands are sticky glue. He went to the Super Bowl with the Rams, got a Super Bowl with them, and he almost dropped 100 yards. He caught a touchdown before he got injured during halftime. Before halftime, imagine he would have came out in that second half. He probably would have had 200 yards.
Yeah.
He would have gone crazy. And then you pair all 3 of those up with a quarterback who, in my opinion, has the best ball placement and accuracy throughout the whole NFL. Man, he doesn't have the long ball like Patrick Mahomes or maybe Jalen Hurts or these other quarterbacks, Josh Allen. But he knows where to put it. He knows what time to put it. The timing is everything. You guys know this with quarterbacks and wide receivers. I think Tua is going to have a fantastic year. He just got paid. I think he's going to be probably the number 1 fantasy quarterback this year with all these speedy guys out there. And just saying that too, just having the speed in the mix, bro, it just makes him that much crazier offense.
Yeah. I mean, he may not have the long ball, but he knows how to use it. So the BC, you got your number 1, buddy. What you got?
Yeah, and I gotta raise George 1. Got the Houston Texans sitting at number 1. I mean, Trevon Diggs said it best. You got 3 wide receiver number 1s on your squad. That's crazy.
That is.
Like it really is. And I think the one thing for me, in my mind anyway, that separated them from the Bears is that while that wide receiver 3 for the Bears is a rookie, obviously Tank Dell, he's got some seasoning now under his belt. Like I think he's starting to elevate himself. So I think now you can kind of say, okay, this is a proven commodity, proven prospect. So I think that everything that Houston was able to put together this past season, and then you throw Stephon Diggs on top of that, it's hard not to label them the top wide receiving core in pro football.
Well, yeehaw, I'm agreeing with you, buddy. Houston Texans got the number one wide receiving core in the league, man. You got Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell. That's out there, man. And any of those three could easily be the number one on any damn team. And this is Stephon Diggs' second time possibly being on two different teams being a number one. I think on any given day, Tank Dell could take over. And for being the smaller guy out of the group, he's still he's basically a small Debo. You know, he's a tough kid. He has no fear, and he just catches everything that he can. You know, and the only thing that makes me slightly nervous is the size of both your two number twos or number one possibly are smaller framed in Diggs and Tank Dell. Diggs is not the biggest of guys. He isn't having very much injury history, but that would be my only concern because Nico Collins and Tank Dell, even held Noah Brown at one point. They all had a little bit of injury history. So that'd be my only concern with the Texans. Granted, that still would leave it at number two. I don't see all of them going out in the same game, God forbid. But I think that's why it makes them so dynamic out there. So I'm going with the Houston Texans as the number one.